It's greasy. Hello. Hey. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing fine.
So, yeah, this is my first time doing a room. I decided to do this today. um,
Oh,
yeah, I know it. I've been on the app, Clubhouse app, for about uh, I think I'm about to be at a month actually.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So I think I joined right at like the New Year, so I'm like a couple days in on it.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I've been on here in and out of Clubhouse. Like the first week I got on, I was literally like on all day, all night for like about 3 days, and
So
then
I really had time to kind of sit and just like really be like involved in rooms, but I plan to get more involved, I guess.
yeah,
I got a lot of friends that were, telling me about the app. So I said, okay, well let me just try. Let's see.
yeah. That's I don't know. I just heard people keep talking about it. Around probably beginning of December, and then I was like, let me find out what this is all about. So I had no idea, and somebody just let me in. I didn't know that it was gonna be this magnitude, like people trying to get in and like charging people to get in. I'm like, this is crazy.
Oh wow.
I've heard some crazy stuff. Um,
Well, maybe I just I thought about it, went downloaded the app, and the next day, one of my this girl that I know that used to work for them, she was let me in. I was just like, oh, that was easy.
yeah, that's kind of how it was with me. I had no idea there was an invite process. So when I did the application or signed up, it was maybe like a few hours later somebody let me in. It was somebody I knew. I was thankful, but I didn't know all that until like a few days after. I was like, oh, okay, I see how this is. Like I hadn't used up my invites and stuff like that.
Have you figured out how to invite someone yet?
Oh yeah, there's like a few ways you can do it. Like you can either like what we did, sign up and got lucky, and somebody what it does, Clubhouse send when you do it that way, Clubhouse sends the suggestion to someone else that's already in Clubhouse that is probably more familiar with you. And so that's how we both got in pretty much when we signed up, not knowing. And then they put us on like a waiting list, and then they sent us to someone who was already in the app, and then they decided to let us in or not. The other way to do it is like once you get in the app, if you notice you have an envelope with a like a yellow star on it, that's your invites. If it's a yellow star there, that means you have an invite, so you can use that to let someone in through your contacts. And then
Okay.
another way to do it is to also, which is kind of the same way, but it's the reverse. So if someone is not in your contacts, then they will have to, of course, give you their number, and you will have to add them to your contacts, then send the invite manually that way.
Oh,
Like you will have to go through your contacts and send it that way if you have invites. Yeah.
okay.
So today I just decided to get on and talk about business stuff. Um, I'm a 6 months into my business consulting career. So I was
Okay.
like, after looking at and learning Clubhouse, being in and out of rooms, around a bunch of celebrities and a lot of knowledgeable people, I was just overwhelmed, but in a good way. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna finally do my first room or whatever. I wasn't sure when, and like today, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it today. So I was like, let me do it today before I change my mind. So yeah, that's pretty much what this room is about. Just like talking about how 2020, how last year in 2020 we had these resolutions with businesses. We said we were going to start businesses. We had this big, goals and dreams, not knowing what would happen just 2 months later. And so a lot of things probably went different than what we thought. So I use that as a topic for today, like what are the missing pieces that we learned from last year, even though it was abnormal, like what have we learned from just like ourselves getting into business and also like what can happen in business, like once things that we can't control happen. So like what are the missing pieces that we have um from learning experiences that we can use to add to our business going forward in 2021. So that way we can catapult and actually do what we said we were going to do from 2020 and 2021. So, right. Yeah. So, uh huh.
Um, 2020 was just a rough year. I was actually pregnant this year, had a baby in 2020. I found out I was pregnant at the beginning of the year when all this stuff was going on.
That is so
So,
crazy. I'm pregnant right now.
oh,
Yeah. I was like, oh God. Yeah. I found out in July. So that kind of like put a strain on everything. But go ahead.
oh yeah. Prior to business wise in my career, so
Mhm.
went to college, undergrad, got off the state, got a degree in mass media. Never used it. Was a
Okay.
complete waste of money. Um, Left there and started working, um, kind of like in the healthcare field.
Okay.
And so, after working at like a private agency that they would sit with like disabled individuals. I just started kind of researching and was like, I want to work with children more. And so I researched and found the steps to take to open a child placement agency,
Okay.
which is pretty much foster care. So we recruit foster parents and place them into place children. We have a state contract with DFAC to place kids in people's homes. And so, as far as business, that has probably been my most solid business in the past, right? Going forward. Um, I had this fear of that's just really my comfort zone. It's my safety net. It's like, okay, make money here, stay here, do it here.
Hmm.
But this year in 2020, I feel like it really made me, just kind of live carelessly. Like, okay, one day we'll be here, one day we won't. So instead of constantly just deferring, on your business ventures and business deals, like just go into it. And so that's
Right.
kind of what 2021 did for me is push me to do more in business. And so me and my husband just newly opened up last month our own trucking company.
Okay.
Um, so he is owner operator, and we have a truck, and we're planning to actually buy another one at the end of February. So we want to grow just in that business. I also started this year doing pretty much anything creative and print,
Okay.
like um, t-shirts, hoodies, you name it, anything that you could put something on
Okay.
it in terms of graphics, I'll do that. And then I'm just a general creative soul, period. So I do things like make baby letters, for like nurseries and
Oh, cool.
um, paper flower backdrops, just backdrops for I've done some like a couple of baby showers, just in terms of I'm all over the place when it comes to creative. So
Girl, you sound so much like me. Right.
yeah, I can do the bloom decorations, the centerpieces, the whole setup, you name it, the invitations. I make logos. So I'm just really a well overall person. But those things that I find to be creative, I haven't really taken them serious in business. I kind of use the main things that I know are gonna be securing financially for me.
Right.
And that's just kind of what I roll with.
I totally can relate to everything that you're saying. So,
And then the last part of it is I've been writing a book, just because I want to um, put something out there, right? That can be meaningful and purposeful to people. Because I feel like there's so much that I learned, on my own that I feel like I didn't learn growing up, primarily because my mom was working, my dad wasn't there, and so a lot of things that I feel like, especially people that are coming out of college, coming out of high school, need to know. Like, I don't remember anybody sitting me down telling me, "Hey, this is what credit is, man. This is how you manage it, and this is how you start a business, and what income taxes is, and So I'm actually writing like a self-help book.
okay.
Which is going to be like a youthful perspective on entering the real world. So it's practically going to be called The Things They Didn't Teach Us, which really just talks about just certain areas I feel like once you graduate that you naturally learn on your own, but it would be helpful to get a boost in advance, just to hear it from somebody else so it's not all just unfamiliar when things happen.
Oh, I love all of that. I love that book idea. I hope you. I know you will. You will complete that because I can't. I want that for myself. So I'm excited about that for you. And
Well, thank
you
you.
sound like me, but like I have a lot of things going on in my head, and I'm trying to do them all at once. But last year, like similar to you, last year was the reason why I started my coaching business. It was because pretty much I went to school. So I graduated Georgia College State University with my bachelor in business administration management, which, like you, I do not use. I don't use it. I would say this: I don't use it in my 9 to 5, but I do use it in my businesses. I started my first business in 2015. It's a dance studio, so with the creative stuff, I can totally get you from there. Creative and artistic stuff, I am so into. So I created my first business 2015 dance studio. I just went off a whim. I did it. It wasn't the best year, but it was a great year. Um, then it was just like, okay, something's still missing, or I was thinking, okay, I need a 9 to 5. Back then I was working like retail, so it was part time. How that is, it's weekends as well. So I was like, well, okay, I got this business. I need it to be more stable. I wanted to have more stable class times and class hours, right? So that I wouldn't like go on a weekly basis. I wanted to be like, okay, Mondays, this is what happened. And Tuesdays, like that. So I figured, okay, if I can just find a 9 to 5 that I like and work there till I retire, I can work there, and my evenings are scheduled, my weekends are scheduled, boom, right? So I worked 2 to 3 retail jobs. Then 2 years ago, 2018, I decided to do online boutique. So I started doing that, and that was okay. It was rocky. I don't have that boutique anymore. I actually transitioned earlier this year to decide to get rid of it and actually start a whole nother boutique with another new branding because I had took a coaching course, and it opened my eyes up, and then I knew what I wanted. So I started another boutique. And then in the midst of starting the other boutique, I realized something kept coming at me. Like for one, I would always be scared to start businesses. And every year it would just be the same thing. Okay, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm not gonna do it. But another thing my mom was telling me, you need to teach. You need to teach. She always say that every year, at least once or twice a year. Like it's like something she's stressing. I'm just like, I don't want to be a teacher. I don't like to talk, but I did start my dance studio, so I was kind of tiptoeing in it, but I was still shy, and that was a part of the reason why my business, my dance studio, probably didn't catapult like it should because I wasn't firm enough because I was so shy. But I love to dance. Like I kind of communicate better, through the dancing and the movement. But over the years, I've gotten better at talking, especially like public speaking. After doing it for 5 years. So this year, like I said, the coaching opened my eyes up to a lot, and this pandemic did as well. So I learned that what teaching does make me happy. It is the passion that I keep running away from because what comes with teaching is talking. That was the one biggest fear I had, and I find it so ironic that the thing that I'm supposed to be doing was the thing that I'm also running from. So when I decided to like get all that fear out, which was around June or July of last year, that's when I started to work on my coaching business. Well, I actually started working on it in March, but it wasn't until August when I really got serious about it. And that was around the same time I found I was pregnant. And then so it was like, oh gosh, what am I going to do? So yeah, I can totally agree and relate to everything that you've been saying and going through. And now I've gotten to the point where I've narrowed it down to those three because I found a way to like connect them all with me. And also, they're so different, but yet they kind of mesh. So it's like I have the dance studio, I have the online business, then I have the coaching. And that's what I love to do. They all cater to different things that I feel fulfill my life. And that's like exactly what I'm trying to do. Now, the last part to this is the 9 to 5. So I got the 9 to 5 in the midst of all of this, right? And I hate it. Like I thought that I wanted to run a business, but still work a job and retire and have the business on the side. But I realized also in these 5 years or 6 years that working a job isn't for me. I think I'm meant to be self-employed. So now my goal for 2021 is to become 100% self-employed and running all three of my businesses smoothly. So I totally agree.
I commend you for setting that goal for yourself. Because it's hard. The struggle is really existing, and I'm saying that because I look at the child placement agency that I founded as still being a 9 to 5 for me. And the reason I look at it like that is because we have a state contract with Georgia. And so the Division of Family and Children Services and the Office of Provider Management has so many rules and regulations that it's virtually, it's not your agency, it's theirs, and you kind of play by the rules, and it becomes a numbers game for them in terms of placements, and it just, when I first started, my passion was there, but the more that I do it, the more that it becomes more business, if that makes sense. Meaning, when you have to make difficult decisions just in terms of safety for the sake of, well, we got to maintain this specific number, it's just not a good feeling.
I get exactly what you're saying because, like, that's another thing. That's another reason why I started my coaching business is because a lot of times, this is one thing I feel like sets me apart as well. Because one thing I teach in like the first week is we don't even talk about branding a lot. We're going to talk about passion versus hobby because a lot of times, sometimes what you're passionate about is just a hobby. It's not meant to be a business. But but if you really like some people, it's like, do you want to be an entrepreneur? It's not for everybody is what I'm trying to say. So what I try to get them to understand is get into the mindset of what the idea is and how it looks as a business plan and how it looks like, right versus what you're doing right now. Because once you enter in that lane of becoming the entrepreneur for that hobby or business that you call a passion, it's gonna look very different and it's gonna be very different. And it's not easy. It's gonna be a lot of hard times. And then if a lot of people who are in the business don't like the number side, and it depends on the type of person you are. Like it could get to the point where you're just not happy with it. So it's like you need to kind of like meditate and understand a lot of things before you actually start a business. And that's one thing that I like to coach on, because I just feel like we're on this earth, we're here. We're actually not really meant to be chasing after money or a job. It's a free world, right? So like I just feel like you need to really understand your passion so that way you can go in the right direction, because once you enter that lane, you may not feel fulfilled anymore. But that's not also a bad thing, because maybe that's not what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe it's just supposed to stay a hobby. Maybe there's something else that you can grow into a business, or maybe you decide that a 9 to 5 is what makes you happy along with your side hustle. Maybe you don't want that to be your main thing. Maybe you do want it to just be a side hustle, but not, to the point where you're self-employed and running yourself in the ground. So like that's what I like to like coach on, is like passion, because I'm big on that, because I do understand that at the end of the day we have a life to live. And I'm not just saying that as a means of living to pay bills and going to work like a routine. I mean like actually fulfilling what your heart's desire and what God gave you to, fulfill while you're here. So I really am big on that, because I feel like um my whole journey through business and entrepreneurship, um, that kind of stood out, because it's like I'm depressed a lot because I was working for other people and I didn't know why. I just thought, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Now I just got to find out what's my passion. I'm thinking I'm supposed to do these simultaneously, but God will put you through things where He'll get like you'll go through little steps and different scenarios, and then you'll one day be like, oh, light bulb goes off. This is what I want to do. So
It's crazy. And I realized in just some of the things that you said that for me, I'm definitely passionate about what it is that I'm doing when it comes to what I like to call my 9 to 5. Just because I can still feel, when we place, babies or just children with tragic stories that you see about on the news, I mean, it still warms my heart. It still touches me. Like, I still feel, like I'm doing a good service, like we're able to provide a home, so I feel like I'm passionate about it. It's just, I struggle with, the logistics of what the state expectations are versus how I see myself doing it. Right. And I'm saying that to say I'll even bug, and I realize that it will hinder me from probably our agency from ever being one of the top child placement agencies in the state of Georgia, because I won't compromise on certain things. And I realize, okay, small and steady, I'd rather do, the smallest amount of work, if I can, the right way, means more to me than doing thousands of cases the wrong way. Right. And I feel like ultimately following just what I feel and the passion in that, and just knowing that I'm doing something the right way, it'll eventually, I feel like, lead. Like, I may 10, 15 years from now look and be like, oh wow, we're one of the top child placement agencies, because people are able to connect more when they feel like things are more authentic.
Right.
So I always feel like, what I'm calling my 9 to 5, and the only reason I'm really calling my 9 to 5 is because I would physically have to go there Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. But what COVID has done, and me having a baby, has really made me become more lax. lax in the fact that, hey, I am the executive director and I make the rules and, you know,
Yes.
work from home, everybody. And now I'm having a baby and I'm like, oh, you know what? I only want to work Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So now I'm just going into the office those days, which gives me 2 other days to focus on other things. So it took me a minute to transition my mind for me to be able to work within that 9 to 5. And I wasn't fighting, against nobody but myself. That's what I'm saying when it came to, girl, you're the boss. If you don't want to go to work, you don't have to. But I struggled so with just trying to, I guess, place myself on high expectations because I have a master's in business administration too. And so I'm just one of those extremist Virgo type A people that want to do everything by the book, how it's supposed to be done. And then I feel like 2020 just kind of taught me, if we all could work from home for a half of the year, maybe we don't need to be in the office every day.
Exactly.
That's even better because now my so dreadful, I got to get up Monday through Friday and go to this job because, okay, I can still make my 6 figures a year and not be there and do other things that I also want to do.
Right.
So I'm looking at it just a lot differently.
Hey, Martika.
But yeah, it has definitely fueled me to 2020 made me become more fearless because I wasn't afraid to actually, start a business. I started probably 10 of them and failed them all. I was quick to start them and not commit to them. So 2020 just taught me, girl, jump off the porch, focus on a few things and run with it. Hey,
that's
you guys.
Awesome. Hey, Andrea. So
Hi.
So yeah, just kind of catch y'all up. We just kind of been here chatting. But we're talking about, of course, 2020 and the effects of that, but how can we use what we learned from 2020? Because we all remember our resolutions, right? We had these, things we wanted to do, and then we had no idea 2020 was going to be what it was. So now the conversation today is how do we use, for one, the lessons that we learned from 2020, and then two, how do we use the lessons of 2020's actual the pandemic side of that? How does that all, how can we connect those, find those pieces in order to put into place for 2021 so that even though we're still in this pandemic, we can prosper and do everything that we said we were going to do. And we're not blindsided anymore. So now we know what to do. We should be able to kickstart whatever it is that we were trying to do in 2021, in 2020 in 2021. And so we both kind of been, sharing those ideas with each other. So, Martika, if you want to add anything to that, then you can feel free.
So when hi, I'm Martika. I'm a hairstylist. So I was actually just talking about this the other day because when this whole pandemic happened, and I literally worked the day before the shutdown. I was just kind of in a place because I'm a fairly new hairstylist. I've been doing hair for probably about 4 years, but I've been licensed for 2 years, and there's still a lot that I'm learning about it as far as business wise, because you learn a basic amount of business in school, but I feel like I am more of a creative than a business person, and it's kind of been hard for me to kind of understand this business world and just how to do good business in general. And when this whole pandemic hit, it was a big thing because I wasn't prepared. So 2020 basically taught me that I need something else to do that I could possibly do from home in case of emergency. I I've been thinking about lately, like a lot of different ways that I can start a business that I can do from home and residual income and those type of things.
Yeah, that I think we all dealt with that. Like it was horrible, but at the same time, like thinking back on it, it's like for me, like I was telling Tan that it was a kind of a blessing in disguise because like I had all these new visions and all these new dreams, and for some reason I felt very inspired to just get them going last year. Then all of a sudden, all that happened, and I just was discouraged. But one thing I did do during the pandemic, and this was very early on in March, is I invested in a coach. So I kind of took that downtime that we were getting from the pandemic. Um, to learn more for myself and not and I think it was a great thing for me because when I want to do something, I kind of start on it. I get on the jump and get into it. But I feel like this is the first business I started where I actually took the time out and did a little more research and beyond just the research, but actually putting the money where my mouth is and investing in someone to give me some knowledge that I wasn't familiar in with the area that I was trying to go, moving forward. So I definitely understand, and I learned a lot about business during that time, even though I wasn't, putting myself out there. It wasn't until July or August when I decided to actually use what I was taught in March. I was sitting on all this knowledge and sitting on all this experience from starting my first business in 2015 because of fear and because of the fact that it was a pandemic. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I haven't started anything. So what am I going to do, now starting in a pandemic? And then just, looking at everyone, still prospering and stuff. I just one day just decided, okay, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna actually, start my business or whatever. And like I said, this is my third business. It's a coaching business. So I help like startups, who are passionate about what they're doing, but ultimately I help them determine, whether that passion is a hobby and how that looks as a business plan before they actually get jumping into all the documentation and the marketing and the branding so that they can have a more clear understanding of that. So that's what I did in August. And obviously, now that it's 2021, I'm really more focused in doing that. So that was what be my missing pieces from last year that I'm bringing into 2021, and that is putting everything that I learned together. Now I'm just putting a bow on it, and now I just got to put in the back end work and use what I learned um, to make sure that though we're still in a pandemic, this is 2021, and I want to do what I was supposed to be doing in 2020. So that's kind of like where I'm at with it. So I totally agree with what you're saying. So
Yeah, and Martika, I agree too. I definitely think 2020, I feel like life, kind of just set everybody down. Like
mhm.
it made you really reflect and think on, what is it that you're doing and how can you do more of it? I had so much just idle time this year where you got tired of doing, basic things like watching TV or being on social media. And in my idle time, I just started writing and I didn't even know where my writing was going. But now I'm determined that by 2021, I have to publish a book. And that to me is just another business venture because I want to actually I don't want to self-publish. Like I want to try to be like on the bestsellers list to really like just make my book be great. Um, and so 2020 just taught me to also be fearless, to step into my business ventures with confidence, knowing that, I'm gonna succeed because I feel like that is what failed so many times before is walking into something being timid, not really knowing, you know, is this going to be successful? But I feel so confident about the business that I just started. And I'm just eager and excited to go into, this new year with a different mindset than what I had in 2020. And I actually had COVID in 2020 while I was pregnant. And I thought like it was the end of the world. And it just really made me just have a complete different perspective on life to where I feel like I am living every day like it's my last day. So if that means, hey, I have to say I'm putting up, 15 or 20,000 into this business, like I'm not afraid to make that commitment and kind of push myself to do it.
Oh my God, girl! Every time you speak, it's like we have the same situation to happen. Cause like I told you, I'm pregnant currently, and when I found out I was pregnant, well, the way I found out, I was like sick, right? So I thought I had COVID, and when I got tested, they were like, "You have COVID and you're pregnant," and I was like, "What?" And I believe when I was sick those few months, well, once the corona went away and, I'm still having morning sickness, I'm like literally having time before, I went back to work. I had time laying in bed miserable, thinking like, you know, I could be dead or something. This could be way worse. Like I need to, it's time for me to when I get out of this, it's time for me to get in full drive no matter what. Like I can do anything. I have the drive to do anything. Hey April. And that's kind of what kind of happened because all of that happened in July. At the same time I was moving into a new house. Like I was pregnant, got COVID and moving into a new house. And it's just like, okay, it's time for me to start. Like I said, I started my coaching business in March, but I didn't really start it until July or August, and that was because of COVID and all the stuff that was happening, to me personally, health wise, and it changed my mind mentally in order for me to, find the motivation and the drive to continue to go forward with what I was doing, regardless of a pandemic. Like it just really woke me up. Hey, April.
Hey one, hey everybody, how y'all doing? I'm so sorry I'm late, y'all. My internet is went down.
Girl, you good. You know you can come in and out as you please on his clubhouse.
Hey.
But yeah, we're just like touching bases with everyone on, how 2020, how we're using the pieces from 2020. Meaning like when we first started, we all had these New Year's resolutions. We had goals for ourselves. We had these, visions of a business, and then we didn't know what was going to happen in March. So now, besides that, like if a pandemic didn't happen, there would still be pieces that we would need to take from last year in order to bring it into 2021. But the beauty of this situation now, we have that and the pandemic to deal with. So, what are the missing pieces that we learned from both, just lacking in our business and due to the pandemic that we learned that we can take and make this year's New Year's resolution not a repeat of last year because we are still in a pandemic. Like, how can we use that last year into 2021 and really crush it? So that's what we're talking about. And we all kind of went through like, those pieces. So if you would like to share, or Gloria, you as well.
I want to say I'm excited to be a part of this conversation. I have actually had my practice. I am a mental health professional, and I am one of the owners of a small business in Macon, Georgia called the Southern Center for Choice Theory. And we've been in practice for over 10 years now. But as I was listening to you all and thinking about, all of the challenges of being in business that I've kind of experienced being a Black woman running a business in a small community, but also thinking about the lack of access to information, the lack of access to resources, whether they are human resources or financial resources or whatever that I've experienced, and then trying to be successful in this world that requires you to be a very social media savvy and And so there have been a lot of challenges. I've had
So
a
you
lot
hear
of challenges.
the people talking.
And but coming into 2020 and experiencing a pandemic as an African American woman in business for herself really presented me and my business with some different challenges. But what I see as one of the major takeaways or opportunities for improvement for me this during this pandemic is being willing to take risks differently and not being afraid to use my voice, not shying away from when someone says that I am being aggressive. I am no longer allowing those people's voices to overshadow my voice and my ability. And I would encourage you all to do the same. I know that one of the things that's absolutely necessary is to be able to see the things that you dream, come to fruition. To realize that, you got that idea for a reason, and it is so important that you put your all into it. So I'm promoting my books because I've written several, and promoting my YouTube and promoting my things that I always thought I had to be perfect, right? When I released a product or some kind of content or, some of the things that I'm really learning this year more than ever before in my 60 plus years that I do not have to be perfect. And I'm going to say the same thing to you all. Don't wait till you have something perfected, because there will always be someone who can criticize or minimize what it is that you are doing. And nobody really ever waits until a product is absolutely perfect. I mean, even with this COVID vaccine, I'm sure they're gonna need to improve on it, but they didn't wait. So that's the thing, I think, and that's the attitude I'm bringing into 2021 is, I'm gonna do it whether people like it or not. I'm gonna be Gloria, and I'm gonna be the best Gloria that I can. I'm gonna touch every life. I'm gonna raise my voice in every situation, and I'm gonna go out there fearlessly, not foolishly, but fearlessly, and grab hold of the dream that's been mine for a long time.
I love it. I was waiting to unmute my mic. Miss Gloria, you are amazing. Just some of the things that you said resonate so well with me. I'm just a old typical Southern girl, and I'm like, hey, I gotta meet her just get a little bit of that wisdom to rub off on me. I don't know if you were at the beginning of our conversation, but I was telling everyone that I was actually interested and have been just picked up and started writing. And I've been writing something that I'm really passionate about, which is like a self-help book for what I feel like will be youth that are entering just the real world. Things that I learned that nobody taught me in just basic education. And so I just want to share, the things that I feel like whoever they are, didn't teach us. And so I'm just amazed at just your strength and saying, hey, don't wait, feel like you have those, resources that you need now, and just kind of move into that direction. So I would love to just link up with you and just learn more, even just about, your book writing process, if you are available and open to it.
Sure, I am. I'm here.
Yeah, y'all make those connections. I was just thinking that as she was talking as well, like how not only just and she leaves the room, not only just you Tan, but April who just left, she also could benefit from the connection with Gloria. She too also is writing a book. Um, I don't want to talk too much about her passion, but it is. Oh, you are? When you dropped off? Oh, girl, you dropped off. Okay, well, you hear me. That's good. So, well, go ahead and tell them about your book. Can you hear us still, April? Okay, there you go. You came back. Okay. Can she hear us? Yeah, I see that. I was like, she dropped off. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna first, just piggyback off of, the topic and what you said about, how we taking our business more serious right now. For me, like, we always kind of like, I feel like before the pandemic, I kind of was dealt with a really rough year in 2019 too. So I kind of put a lot of things on hold, like even in 2019 and 2020. So for me, I'm just really like now, just really, you know, believing what, the vision that God has given me and just really like, really, really going after, my dreams and goals. And so now I'm really like really been pressing in, focusing on, finishing my book. I've got my book cover done, like I'm really almost done. So I feel like I've been supposed to wrote the book, but I just kind of life just happened and I really didn't really do it. So now that the pandemic happened, it really just, really made me to just really go after my dreams and goals and really not to take any day for granted because we never know, like, you don't ever know how much time you really got on this earth. And if God really give you life every day, like you should really like take it serious and go out there fearless and everything. Just like kind of what Miss Gloria was saying, like, and that's one of the problems that I have. Like when I'm thinking that everything got to be so perfect, like I just think that I'm just always critiquing myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just stop doing that. And you want to operate in the spirit of excellence and you want to do things good, to the best of your ability. But not you don't try to be perfect in everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? Just strive, towards excellence and just go after your dreams and goals. Like, don't wait. Like, if God give you a vision, believe the vision that God gave you. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I'm doing. Believe the vision. Believe the person. Believe the woman that God has called you to be and just don't doubt, just go forth and just be fearless. And if you make a mistake, fine, learn from the mistake. If you're not perfect, which you never will be, but just learn as you go, as you go and as you grow. So I'm just excited about 2021 because I know that it's definitely going to be different from 2020 and 2019. So I'm just really like going to start writing my goals down again and checking them off as I accomplish them. Thank you all.
I love the concept that I heard both you and Miss Gloria talk about, which was just fearless, being fearless. That is something that I feel like when you go through a pandemic and you're seeing people lose loved ones, or either you're losing loved ones, it really just makes you hunker down and become so grateful for every second that you have. And I feel like that is what 2020 did for me. It made me not want to take anything for granted, and for me to accomplish the
I'm
things
on
that I
YouTube
know
and
that God
Clubhouse,
put me
y'all.
on the earth to do. So
I'm on
I
three way,
just
three way.
love to feel
But let
that,
me just.
I got to feel my purpose, and I got to do it fearlessly. And this whole conversation tonight is just confirmation for me, that greatness is near, and that it's all right if you're not perfect. So I thank you guys so much for just that conversation.
Thank you for joining us. And I feel like that is the word for that we all can share from 2021 is the fearlessness. We all just went through it and learning about it differently, but we were all under that same, umbrella with the pandemic. But like we all said, fearlessly is what got us here, and fearlessly is what's gonna keep us going. And I just feel like the connections that have been made tonight will is also going to aid into everyone's 2021 because we have several people writing books, several people with experience with writing books, and I just feel like this is going to be great for each and every one of us, especially coming off that fearless. Like we're going to be able to actually show it, and we're going to move from fearless to like feeling really good about what we're doing because we're going to actually accomplish it this year in 2020. In 2021, my bad. Andrea, we're just talking about the missing pieces two-sided here. One is being how we we all had our New Year's resolutions, correct, and we never knew what was upon us in March. We had these ideas, these business goals set, and then the pandemic happened. So one part of that missing piece is one, how can we learn from that, and then two is how can we learn from that in the midst of a pandemic? How can we learn put together what we've learned from last year and the lack thereof, in order to make sure that 2021 is, prosperous and we hit all those goals and we are, happy with everything that we put out in 2021.
Hey guys, I am Andrea Bridges. I stayed down in the audience just because I was just walking in the door and it's about to snow here, so we were trying to prepare a little bit. But what I do want to say, what I found that I needed to do, or how what made me come out of 2020 okay after the pandemic with my business, is that I stayed pushing, I stayed resilient, and when things seemed like it wasn't going to go quite the way that it needed to go, or that I wasn't going to get to where I needed to be, I pushed a little bit harder. So I was able to, in the business that I'm currently in, I was able to double rank for the pandemic. So it is definitely something that you can do, but you have to have the mindset. It's all about having a different mindset.
That's awesome. I think that's like a little bit different from what we all, kind of dealt with. So that's kind of a good point of view, coming from the pandemic that I've heard so many successful things from different types of people about how the pandemic, even though it was a random thing that we can't control and we're still going through it now, but a lot of people have been very successful. Like it didn't stop them, and a lot of them actually got you know catapulted, like they grew even better and even bigger during this pandemic. So it's glad to see someone from that point of view.
Thank you, guys. Ladies, this has been wonderful. I am going to say good night. Anybody wants to stay in touch, please do. Um,
Yes, everybody
but I
follow
wish
everybody. I'm sorry to
everyone
cut you
all
off.
the
Mhm. Good night. Make sure
best. Good
y'all
night.
follow
All right.
everyone.
Have a good night. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
And actually, I didn't plan on being on, too long. I said an hour, depending on how the conversation went. And I think we're doing good, y'all. I love the conversations. I love the connections that have been made. And I love hearing people's story. That's another thing that I am, intrigued about is, hearing people's passions because I know how big my passion is and me, and I know how it feels to fulfill things in your life, especially when you feel like you found your purpose or that thing. So hearing you all's story coming out of 2021 is, very inspiring and interesting, and I just love it. So if anyone have any lasting remarks, or anything they want to say, then we can do that and everybody follow each other. And then I guess in about 3 to 5 minutes, we can all jump off of here. Oh.
I got a lot of newborn over here, so I ain't really been talking a lot, but I follow everybody who's in the chat. I'm a newbie. This is like my first conversation, so
Yay.
y'all follow me back. Well, welcome to Clubhouse, girl. I'm sure you're gonna find so much valuable information in Clubhouse. Cause girl, when I got invited in here, I was so happy, girl. Oh wow, it
Yes.
was so amazing. Like the people and the connections that I've made, and you're gonna definitely find a lot of value in these groups. So welcome
Yes.
to Clubhouse.
And yes, and Tan,
Yes, welcome.
go ahead.
Let me say this. There's a couple of groups and people that I've made connection with since being on here that's actually given me a little bit more insight. And I think it will also be helpful to everybody. Everybody that's in the group. I just followed you guys on Instagram and on Clubhouse. And just y'all stay in touch. I am here if y'all need anything. If you need, you want to bounce some things off me, I'm going to support you at all costs. I love women being bosses. I
Yes.
love it. We are so capable of doing so many different things. Chime into some of the groups. There's a couple of groups that talks about how to build your business with how to build business capital or how to get business capital so that you're not having to pull the money out of your pocket. That was so inspirational for me because I wanted to tap into something else different, like brokering and things like that. So some of the groups are about credit building, business credit building, PPLs, EIDLs, nonprofit. I did not know they had a grant for the nonprofits, people that had nonprofit businesses. So if you have something that you do with a nonprofit, you might want to look into that. So tap into some of those groups just as much as you can, but don't get too addicted because I got addicted. I had to put my phone down.
Yes, that happened to me. I was telling her that too. Like I was in for 2 hours.
I'm in all of them. So
Yeah.
all of you guys, when something comes up or when I see something good, then I'll ping you. Check it out. If it's not for you, keep it moving. I'll ping you whenever I see that comes up because I check out everything. Just like coming to this group, I think whoever pinged me I think it was someone.
Yes, I did, Andrea.
The one.
One Tiara.
I'm so sorry.
One Tiara.
But she pinged me in this week, and I do come in and I check. And I started talking last week. I haven't stopped talking since. so don't be afraid to talk.
Yes.
And keep going.
Thank you for that. But yes, everything she said, Pan, I can second all of that. Like I said, I've been on here since I think December 10th, and I've been in and out of rooms, and I've it's some amazing things on here, but it's also some black holes you can go down, like as with any social media. But like I've been in touch with billionaires and like billionaire investors who actually do live Shark Tanks on in their rooms. So if you ever seen the show Shark Tank, what they do is they allow people to give 2-minute pitches on their business, and then based off that pitch, you could bank an investor right on the spot. And I've seen it happen. So I will his name is Grant Cardone. Go follow him. And Kevin, oh, what is his last name? It's Kevin Carrington or something with a rington at the end. I can't remember. I'm gonna send you him too. But I follow them and I've been getting a lot of information, and not just that, but hearing other people's stories. Like I enjoy hearing other people's stories. The stories that come up and pitch their ideas is just amazing. Like a 17-year-old, her mom had the Clubhouse app. They got they didn't get a actual investment, but they did get a mentoring by one of the billionaire investors in the group to help catapult their brand and their product. So like there's a lot of things on here and a lot of meditation groups, a lot of mommy groups, whatever you want to find. If you go to your profile settings, you can actually like filter out your interests by clicking like what you're interested in so that way the algorithm can like start showing you that stuff. Like if you're not following someone, they can start showing it to you. But other than that, just start going into the rooms, and when you see something you like, follow those people. That way you can also keep in touch and stay up to date when they are on. But like Andrea said, don't get caught up in it, because my first week I was in like at least 10, 12 hours a day. um
Oh
and I actually stopped doing that, and then I got back in it when I got in that Shark Tank one, because that one was so interesting and I loved it. I was in that one almost the whole day, and they were on there for 2 days. So, like I said, this app can be very, it can change your life. It's kind of crazy. It can, but you
my.
just
Like,
have to know who to
only thing
follow and know
that
who
changes
to
your life,
listen to. Hmm.
does change your life if you implement what they're giving to you, because they are
Right.
giving some powerful tools, some power, they call them gems. So I would
Hmm.
say gems, but they are giving you some tools. And if you're just sitting and listening and you're not taking notes and not implementing,
Hmm.
you won't get anywhere. You just be listening, going, "Wow, wow, this thing's gonna be so overwhelming
It
and so
is.
exciting to you." Okay, overwhelming and exciting, but will not work for you if you don't make it work for you. So make it happen, make it work. Again, I'll ping you guys in here. I'm gonna get out of here. We'll cook dinner real quick and put a cup of coffee, on and get to work because I haven't did any work tonight for my own business. So I'll talk to y'all soon. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
You guys.
So yeah, y'all, it's this app can be great and it also can be not great. You can
Yeah.
waste a lot of time, but I mean, that's like I feel like I'd rather waste time in Clubhouse than on Facebook. I feel like I've wasted. I feel like when I do that, I'm not really wasting time because like I literally will. I'm at work with them in my headphones, and literally I'm taking the paper out of the printer, taking notes because they say something like, "Oh, let me write that down. Let me write that down." So I'm like writing stuff down. You're gonna need a notebook. It's gonna get very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it's some things, like I said, you have to cipher through because
Yeah.
there are some people that are not knowledgeable, and there are some people on there that can like kind of fake like they got stuff and they don't. But you'll know through their authenticity. But most of who I've come across have been good, sound people and legit. So
You got it right.
to me,
Yeah, for sure.
I just say 10. Yeah, that's like me. Nobody can never say my name right the first time. It's one Tierra. You should have tried. But I just like people to call me one. I just like to go by one. Yeah, so yeah, make it easy. Oh yeah.
They just teach you about how to fix up your bio.
Yes.
Well, that, not the vibe, but just teach you how to make, how to make your bio look, presentable and
Right.
stuff like that. So
Right.
that comes on in the morning and it runs pretty, runs about, well, where it runs about 1 o'clock a day. But it's really helpful, like in the clubhouse if you're not really sure, like, what your bio should say and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
look out for that too. Well, give me a critique. What do you think about my bio?
Let me look, girl.
Let me tell you, honey.
Yeah, let me look. I love doing stuff like this. Hold on, let me look at it. Okay, so this what
Some stuff to it today, but go ahead.
okay, so being new on Clubhouse, I kind of was like, okay, first of all, I'm gonna say I have some experience in marketing with my own company, but being new to Clubhouse, like she was saying, there is a group that will help you. I think they call it making your bio pop. And so I learned that because I didn't understand what he was talking about, 3 lines. So I had to understand the algorithm and then like the app, how it's like structured, the app is structured to know what he's talking about. So pretty much what they're gonna say or talk about is like when I click on your face or when you click on someone else's face, like my face or someone else, when you click on it, right, there's it's only gonna show us the first 3 lines of your bio. So if you have a bunch of stuff in it, we're not gonna see that initially when we first click your face, right? So what they're saying is your first 3 lines should tell us everything we need to know, but it should be so enticing and interesting that we want to click where it says view full profile so that we can learn more about you. Other than that, if it's not that interesting, we probably won't click on it, or either we'll click on it and scroll, but not really give it too much thought. So they were saying, say something like, um, catching like interesting about you, like, so maybe not so per se go into like something so serious or um straight into what you're trying to do, like maybe say, I don't know, because I got to work on mine too. I haven't changed it since I got on here.
I'm gonna delete the whole first line.
No, don't delete it. No, use that and keep reading it over and over. What I would suggest to you is keep reading it over and over and then shorten it and make it like eye catching or make it like say something crazy like, oh, I won an Emmy and I got $1 million in my first 2 months. That's not us. It's I'm not saying lie, but if somebody actually did that, that's what you want to put in there because it's gonna make me like, oh, well, how they got $3 million in the first 3 months? I want to know more. So boom, I'm gonna click your view full profile, right? So that's what they're saying is be true to yourself, but tell us something interesting that's gonna allow us to be so intrigued that we'll want to look at your bio further. And
Or
then
just want to connect with you overall.
right. So when they click on your view profile, that's how they'll be able to contact you in order to be able to connect with you. And then like when they see more, they're gonna see things that you're interested in. You want to start getting more in depth. And they also said to put things in there like what are your intentions on being on Clubhouse? So like you might have a section in there that says my intentions for Clubhouse or what I want to learn or the people I am trying to attract in Clubhouse is, and then you list that. So pretty much your first 3 lines should be eye-catching, interesting, and intriguing. Something that's gonna make us be like, what? Wow, or something that's gonna give us a dramatic reaction, but that is truthful and authentic to you. And then when we open up the profile further, we're gonna read that you are a boss mamapreneur, that you are a director of general child care, owner of Mikai Transportation. We're gonna read more about you, but you want to put the main things that you're trying to
That's the
get
first three
across in
lines.
those first 3 lines.
Yeah, they fix my they help me fix mine with
Let me
that.
see yours, April. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm gonna click on hers, look at it, and then I learn from that. Don't try to do yourself with nobody. Just be yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Be yourself. That is the main thing. See, I haven't had time to do my bio,
Yeah, I had to sit
but
down.
I definitely said I was gonna change it because I just did mine the same day, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna throw this in there, but it's not organized at all.
Yeah, I
Um,
organized it today because I kept putting it off, and I was like,
me
I'm gonna
too.
do
I
it
think I need
today.
to do.
Okay,
Yeah, I think I need to do
I
it.
thought of this morning, but I realized that they don't think it's one. They start
Yeah, and what's his name? Mario.
yeah, a lot of this, they really moderators and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So
it's that.
10, you need to look for like pretty much everything that you have in your bio, go find interest in all of those. And then also join clubs. Clubs are the things like if you tap on our faces, I think a few of us are in them. If you tap on our face and go to full profile, at the bottom, you
It
will
says
see
member of.
member of all those are the clubs that we are in. So that's aside from like just rooms. These are like the actual clubs we're in. I'm in one as far as learning Mandarin Chinese. You get what I'm saying? Like you can literally find anything, and I'm in a lot of black entrepreneur ones, and then I'm in a lot of just business ones, and then a lot of investing ones, real estate. It can be whatever you make it to be on Clubhouse.
So thank y'all so much just for the quick introduction into it. I needed that, and I will be working on my bio.
Yeah, go ahead.
But like I said, get on there if you can in the morning. They will be on there, but I like to hear from other people because I'm learning too. So
right.
You got some, good, told us that I realized I learned something today that everybody don't see the same rooms. They told us that not everyone see the same room, so
yeah,
you see on your feed is based on who you follow.
Right.
So follow one follow a lot of people. So, I'm a lot of good people too, I'm not really I'm following a lot of people, but I'm in some really good groups. I ain't really got a part of a whole bunch of groups, but the groups I'm a part of is really good. So based on who you follow, it'll show different things on your timeline. But I definitely to ping you in some good groups
right.
And thank y'all so much because I was so yesterday. It was like all kinds of groups about what was going on at the Capitol.
Yeah,
I was just shocked at some of the dialogue. I was like, I really wanted to hear all this.
Yeah, I've gotten into some real crazy stuff, and I was like, mm-hmm.
You will be crying on them.
Yes, you will. I was in one the other day about being pregnant in the pandemic. I don't even know how that happened. I think the app put me in there because I had no interest in that. I didn't know that existed. And one day it just popped up. I think the app knew I was pregnant in a pandemic and it showed up. Like I didn't yeah, it's just like any other social media. And I was in there and I was talking to them and it ended up being very interesting. So yeah, you can find some stuff. But you just have to just show yourself around. We gave you a great introduction from everyone. So once you start moving around in here, you'll understand more and you'll get your placement in the app. You're welcome. I think I'm gonna hop off too. Huh? Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna tap into that. We're gonna wrap it up here.
And there's one tomorrow. It's about women getting money for their businesses.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. All right. Bye, ladies. Good night. Okay, we are done, y'all. We are done. I'm about to get off of YouTube first, and I'm gonna stay on Facebook a little bit longer. So I'm gonna round up with Facebook, y'all. That was Clubhouse, my first Clubhouse chat room. I'm excited. That went way better than I intended or thought. Well, I'll stay on here a little bit too. Hold on, wait, how can I make this back little? Anybody on YouTube have anything to say before I get off? Anything, remarks? I don't know who these. I know who one person is. I don't know who the other person is that's on YouTube. So, but if nobody have anything to say, I'm gonna head off of YouTube and head over to Facebook for a little while. Okay, then. So, bye, YouTube. Comment, subscribe. Yes, all of that. Hit the bell for future things because I will be back. It's a new year and it's a new one 2.0. It's time to put in the work even more. and crush 2021 like 2020 crushed us. Well, almost crushed. So I'll see y'all later. Bye, wonderful bosses.